Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 1115 and Doubleshot number 1009. I have a Justice Society trade, JSA trade, and Justice League trade to talk about. First up, the JSA. We have Justice Society America, Bad Seed. This collects issues of the third volume for the series, 20 to 33. We have a new creative team with this one. Yep, Jeff Johns is gone. Yeah, the last trade he did was Black Album and Isis. Yeah, that was a great run. The only reason why I didn't do my final thoughts for discussing his run, because basically this is also the JSA book, which I haven't finished reviewing yet. This is the first of two trades to collect Bill Willingham's run for the book. Now you're probably thinking, who is Bill Willingham? Well, he's the guy behind the Fable series. Yep, he's the creator of it. Matthew Sturgis. Well, aside from this, the only other DC books I can think of he did a little bit of Batman, and he did some Robin issues, and that's all I can think of. Matthew Sturgis, he was the guy who replaced Keith Giffen on the Blue Beetle book. Yeah, he was the last writer of the book just prior to the book's end in 2009. Yeah. And plus, he's worked with Bill Willingham before. He also wrote books like Ever After, which was a continuation of Fable, which is focused on the kids of the main character of the series, Snow White. And this book, basically, you can kind of think, when you read Fantasy Ring, it's like, this is just a backdoor power to a spin-off series of JSA America called JSA All-Stars. And there's a reason for it. Basically, the JSA are dealing with, they had Mog join the team, and they basically take out some villains. Like, this big group of villains, they're called out. Basically, we have Monmouth, a Teen Titans villain. We also see Major Force, Girder, who is a Flash villain, Eclipso. Don't know who the host is because last host died. We have Dr. Polaris and a bunch of, minor villains. Tapeworm, from what I heard, they describe him as a Robin villain. Yeah, apparently he's got a past with Wildcat. Yeah, that's never explained. Also, for some reason, they were not allowed to fight Stargirl for some reason. Yes, they never explain exactly why that was. Or even who the heck even hired them. They just grew some random villains that just happened to fight the JSA, and when someone get hurt, and of course, we also see two new members of the team, King Chimera and the All-American Kid. The King Chimera character is the son of a different character, and he joins the apparently his power is illusion. And we see All-American, who claimed to be the great nephew of the original character, who was second to Mr. America. Yeah. And then this guy they had to stay because they weren't fully trained yet, so Mr. Terrific basically had to sort of babysit them. Now, King Chimera himself, I think he's supposed to be in his 20s. Why would he need a babysit for? Yeah. So he agrees to stay, though the All-American Kid basically gets out of the room and ends up stabbing Mr. Terrific in the frickin' back 12 times. And Mogog basically, despite the fact there's some injured, say, hey, we need to go after them right now. And Power Girl is like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, half of you stay here, take care of the wounded. The other half come with me and we'll go beat up the bad guys. And they manage to capture a small number of them. But they don't reveal who hired it because they have no idea who hired them. Apparently their boss, the overseer of this group, is the Icicle. Yes, the second Icicle. Which I'm like, really? Okay, so you bring in a character who is an old JSA villain, though he's the son of an old JSA villain. Yeah, he's the second Icicle Jr. And they don't reveal exactly who was behind the hiring. And then we had this sort of spat back and forth between Wildcat and Mogog. Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that. Now, he has respect for the JSA, but he thinks some of their tactics are outdated. And Wildcat gets into many arguments with him about the whole entire storyline. And, gets to, a boiling point. To where Power Girl just had enough at the end of the storyline. It's like, okay, we need to split the team up into two teams. One young team, and the one team, of course, the young team got the All-Star book, of course, she went with them, and the older generation, the older JSA members, of course, the leadership was taken over by Jay Garrick, the original chairman of the group, and that pretty much became the status quo for the series up until the New 52 relaunch. for the start of Billy Willingham's brief run in the book, it's also they reveal, okay, who stabbed Mr. Terrific? Yeah, it was All-American Kid. It turns out he's actually a serial killer. Yep, he's a serial killer. Okay. So, we get to this, and, like, we don't get a lot of resolution. Apparently, all the characters got bounties in their heads. Now, you finish reading history, like, okay, they do resolve who's Mr. Terrific, the whole thing with that. They don't resolve, there's 2 plot points that are not resolved here. 1, who hired these villains? And second, why was Stargirl off limits? Like, oh yeah, and they're afraid of Dr. Fate. Oh yeah, Dr. Fate. Despite the fact we had the Flash here, who is a very powerful speedster. Oh, how about the freaking Green Lantern? Yeah, you're not afraid of them, but you're afraid of Dr. Fate? That made no freaking sense at all. It's like, wow, it's like so much contradiction, basically, of philosophy when it comes to this book. Well, they decided to take I guess Bill probably realized the JSA was too big of a group that he had to basically. So he decided to take the younger members, the new generation, and give their own spin-off book. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Also, I've got to point this out, though. Why the heck is Wildcat's ears so freaking big? Yeah, it's like they made his costume so goofishly big. Yeah, those were the artists basically did. Now, the artwork in here is actually pretty good. It's done by Jesus Moreno, who actually is a pretty good artist, from what I can tell. But a lot of the other characters, they do pretty much nothing. It's a lot of it just Moga. It's basically just. They also said this little C thing that doesn't go anywhere in here. It probably goes someplace next to Axis Evil, but yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to this one. Yeah, it's like, okay. I give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a bit of a step down from Jeff Johns' run. Though there is one more trade that comes after this one that collects Bill Willingham's run before he abruptly leaves. I'm not really sure why he left for after doing the only issues that he did for the book. He did 13 issues. And Robertson came on the book, did 3 issues, and then Mark Guggenheim came on the book, and he did the last 17 issues. Basically, not the last 17. Basically, he did the last 11 issues of the run before the relaunch. Yeah. So there's still one trade left, but I'm having difficulty getting my hands up because Amazon is selling it for like $35. I'm like, I'm not paying that much for that book. Yeah, so who knows when I'm going to get that book. Next up, we have from the Justice League of America, we have the Injustice League. Yep, the return of the Injustice League. Yeah, it's a 4-part storyline where Lex Luthor, the Joker, and a lot of big-name villains form the Injustice League, which is comprised of a whole boatload of villains. We have Cheshire, the Cheetah, Dr. Light, Parasite, Despero, Scarecrow, Major Force. The big woman is Giganta, though she doesn't exactly wear this outfit in the book. We see Toyman, the way he looked from the animated series. Let's see, Captain Cold, Two-Face. It's like Lex Luthor pretty much assembled like every single big name villain in the DC universe. Though, Granny Goodness Hope does not appear in here, and Poison Ivy. Yeah, and this book is not done by Brad Militz yet. Militz left the 12 issues. This book is done by the late great Dwayne McDuffie, who actually passed away in 2008. Yeah, this one wasn't very long per se. No, he was. From what I heard, he got fired not long after this. Then he passed away. This book contains issues 13 and 16 of Justice League America Volume 2 and the Justice League America Wedding Special. Yep. Now, the Wedding Special, it's just leading up into the wedding of Green Arrow and Black Canary, which is actually not in here. Yeah, that's actually exploring the Green Arrow Black Canary Wedding Special, where they actually do get married. Now, from what I heard about when the whole thing of them getting married happened, apparently there was not much of a reaction to it at all. It was something that, well, I've heard this from one person. I don't know what the general census was at that point. Apparently it was not a proposition to do this, to get married. And of course, I love the scene where Oliver basically is chatting with Roy, and of course chatting with Connor Hawk, and that was really cool. We also have Firestorm here in the book. Now, is this the original Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein? Nope, not them at all. This is Jason Rush and his girlfriend. Yeah. And they even take on the second Killer Frost, which, yeah, that's Louise Lincoln. Yeah, and I think it's awesome. This by far is an epic storyline, and by the end of it, everything is captured. Though, then of course some of the stragglers are taken by Amanda Waller. Though you can kind of say this book is a backdoor pilot to a mini-series. Yes, kind of like how this led to an ongoing series. This was a backdoor pilot to the Salvation Run series because, oh yeah, all these villains you captured, yeah, I'm taking them. And Black Canary is like, yeah, the warrants are fine. You can go ahead and take them. Despite the fact that all these people know Amanda Waller is not a very nice person, and she basically, they don't trust her at all. They have never trusted Waller at all. And all this leads to is Salvation Run. Yeah, that's what this leads to. But I got hand to McDuffie. Great storyline. Surprisingly, now in case you're wondering, now Hal Jordan is part of the team at this point, but he's going to take some time off because he has to go back to outer space. Well, my guess is the reason why Dan McDuffie had to write that in because Jeff Johnson had plans for him. Yeah, he had a whole boatload of plans for him. Yeah, probably because I think Blackest Night was coming up. Yeah, Blackest Night comes. He needed him off planet to deal with that. But it didn't come right away. They come to sometime later. But yeah, great book. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. The artwork in here is done by several different artists, at least about 3 different artists, a few different artists on here. The Justice League story, the first issue is done by Mike McCain. The second issue is done by Joe Barretts. And 3 through 4 is done by Ed Baines, great artist. Brave Tangent is done by Joe Benes, and Soup Kitchen is done by... It's written by Al Burnett, but the arc is done by Alan Jefferson. Yeah. Great book. Yeah, if you're a fan of DC Universe, you probably will enjoy this. Probably also if you're a fan of the DC cartoon. They even have Blackout pop up in here, but he doesn't do anything at all. Yeah. Also, Poison Ivy, in case you wonder about this look, yeah, that was the look she sported for several years prior to the Flash reboot, which had to go back to the pink skin look and basically had to stop wearing this leaf apron she was wearing for quite some time. Yeah. You also kind of say this has sort of been semi-remade in the Scott Snyder book, the idea of the... And by the way, their headquarters is, believe it or not, the headquarters related to the Upside Down Skull headquarters, which in the current continuity, that's the headquarters of the Legion of Doom, which is similar to Justice League, comprised of basically almost every single major A-list villain in DC Universe. Yep. Overall, great book, and I can't wait to get my hands on Volume 4, Sanctuary, I think was the last book that he did. Yeah, I will discuss more about, now overall, basically thanks to reading this book, there's like roughly about 4 books left to review for the collect issues from this run. There is Sanctuary, Worlds Collide, Omega, and Rise of Calypso. Yeah, 4 books left. And that's it. This book is roughly the 3rd book to collect this run. Yep, the 3rd. Yeah, first one was a tornado... I think it was like the tornado... It was something with Red Tornado. Second one was... Also, they tease in here a sort of relationship between Hawk Girl and Roy Harper. Yep. But you can describe this book as pure fun. This book as decent as best. Now, I have nothing against Bill Willingham, but... Yeah, it's kind of good we did the whole spin-off book because... My guess is he probably saw it as a way to take the younger characters out and basically give their own spin-off book. Yep. Which they're basically their own base operations in the book. And they're given the old headquarters of the believe it or not, the Infinity Inc. Yeah, they're actually given their old base operations. Which I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So, yeah, so DC is not the only company to do this. Where they take an old superhero headquarters and use it as somebody else's base operations. They kind of the same thing in the Marvel Universe where they made the old Avengers compound, which was headquarters of the West Coast Avengers, into the housing facility for the Avengers Academy, which I thought was really cool, the fact they did that. Of course, you read that Avengers Academy book, which is really good by Chris Yost, okay? So yeah, that's it for particular review. I have roughly about 4 more videos to do today, and that's a review for the 3 manga chapters, Attack on Titan, One Piece, and My Hero Academia, along with the final video for Dragon Ball Z today, okay? See you next video. Bye.